Capital management. The real reason. Traders survive long-term, not just a formula, but a way of living. Let's be honest for a moment. When most people first step into trading, they're obsessed with strategies. They want the secret formula, the magic indicator, the perfect entry signal that will guarantee profits. They think survival in this business depends on discovering the holy grail of setups. And so, they spend weeks, months, sometimes years chasing after systems. But here's the raw truth. It's not the strategy that keeps a trader alive. It's not the fancy algorithm. It's not even the accuracy of your trades. The thing that separates the ones who last from the ones who vanish? It's capital management. Now I know what you might be thinking. Capital management? You mean risk per trade? Stop loss size? Position sizing? Yes, those are parts of it. But I'm not just talking about formulas you plug into a calculator. I'm talking about a habit, a mindset, a way of living. Because when you strip trading down to its core, survival isn't about making the most money fast. It's about staying in the game long enough to even have a chance. And the only way to stay in the game is to protect your capital like your life depends on it. Because in this profession, it does. Think about it like this. Imagine two traders start on the same day. They both have 10,000. Trader A focuses on perfecting his entry signals. He backtests obsessively. He waits for the A+ setup. Trader B studies money management like a religion. He sets strict limits on how much he can lose in a single day, a single week, even a single month. Fast forward 6 months. Trader A might have the best strategy in the world, but if he blew 70% of his account chasing one bad trade, he's done. Game over. Trader B, even if he hasn't perfected his edge yet, he still has money to keep trying, keep learning, keep surviving. Who do you think has a chance to make it 5 years down the road? Exactly. Here's what most traders don't realize. Capital management isn't about being cautious. It's not about playing scared. It's about discipline. It's about creating habits so ingrained that protecting your account becomes second nature. Like brushing your teeth. Like locking the door when you leave home. It's not something you do when you remember. It's something you live by. Because the market doesn't forgive the careless. It doesn't care how confident you feel, how sure you are, how much you believe this trade can't fail. One oversized position, one emotional impulse, and everything you've built can vanish overnight. I remember meeting a trader once. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel was sharp. He could read charts like poetry. He had this gift for spotting reversals before anyone else. But Daniel had one problem. He didn't believe in capital management. He'd laugh at the idea of risking only 1% or 2% per trade. Too slow, he said. If I see the setup, I'm going all in. At first, it worked. He doubled his account in a few weeks, tripled it in a month. He was on top of the world. But you know how this story goes. One trade turned. Then another. Within a week, he wiped out everything he had made. And worse, he lost half his original capital too. When I saw him again, he wasn't the same man. His confidence was shattered. He couldn't pull the trigger anymore. He stopped trusting himself. Because when you blow up not once but multiple times, it scars you. It's not just the money, it's your belief in yourself that gets destroyed. Contrast that with another trader I know, Sophia. Sophia wasn't flashy. She didn't chase home run trades. She had one rule, never risk more than 1% of her capital. People mocked her, too conservative. You'll never get rich at that pace. But here's the thing. Sophia didn't blow up. She didn't face those devastating wipeouts that cripple most traders. Year after year, she compounded slowly. And you know what? After 5 years, while others were quitting left and right, Sophia's account had quietly grown into something powerful. She didn't just have capital. She had confidence. And confidence built on discipline lasts. That's the real truth no one wants to admit. Capital management isn't sexy. It doesn't sound exciting. No one brags on social media about risking 1% and walking away when they hit their daily stop. But that's exactly why it works. Because survival isn't about excitement, it's about endurance. And endurance is built on habits. So let's break this down deeper. What does capital management as a way of life actually look like? First, it means you define risk before you trade. Not while you're in the trade. Not after your emotions are already screaming at you. But before you even click the button, you know your stop. You know your size. You know the maximum you're willing to lose in that session. And when that line is crossed, you step away. No negotiation. No excuses. Second, it means you treat your capital like oxygen. You don't waste it on revenge trades. You don't throw it at every flicker of price movement because you're bored. You wait. you preserve. Because your capital is your ticket to tomorrow. Lose it and tomorrow doesn't exist. And third, it means you build patience. Patience to sit out the noise. Patience to wait for high probability setups. Patience to let your account grow slowly instead of forcing it to explode. Because trading is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And those who sprint burn out before the finish line. Now let's talk psychology, because capital management is deeply tied to it. You see, without strict risk habits, your emotions will run the show. Greed will whisper, just risk a little more this time. Fear will scream, double down to make it back. Ego will say, you can't afford to lose this trade. And before you know it, you're no longer trading a system, you're gambling with your future. But when you have rules, when you build those rules into your daily rhythm, it calms the mind. It creates space between you and the chaos of the market. You stop making desperate decisions. You start thinking like a professional. That's the difference between a gambler and a trader. Gamblers chase emotions. Traders manage capital. Here's a thought that might sting a little. Most people don't fail in trading because they lack knowledge. They fail because they can't control themselves. They fail because they treat capital like play money. They fail because they want excitement, not discipline. And when the storm comes, and trust me, in trading the storm always comes, the undisciplined are washed away. The disciplined survive. And this is where the way of living comes in. Because if you only practice capital management when you feel like it, you'll fail. It has to be part of who you are. The same way athletes take care of their bodies outside the game. The same way musicians practice scales even when they're not performing. You have to live it. That means saying no to the temptation of overtrading. That means shutting down your platform when your rules tell you to. That means treating trading like a profession, not a lottery ticket. Every day, every trade, every decision. So let me leave you with this image. Imagine two roads. On one road, traders sprint wildly, chasing quick riches, burning their energy, blowing their accounts. On the other, traders walk steadily, slow, measured, protecting every step. The first road looks exciting at first, but it ends in exhaustion and collapse. The second road looks boring, but it leads to freedom. The choice is always yours. And the truth is simple. If you want to survive in this game, if you want to last 5, 10, 20 years, if you want to turn trading from a fragile hope into a lifelong profession, then you must embrace capital management. Not as a formula, not as an afterthought, but as a habit, a mindset, a way of living. Because in the end, it's not the strategy that keeps you alive. It's not the perfect trade, it's not even the wins. It's the discipline to protect your capital day after day, trade after trade, that decides whether you make it or disappear. And maybe that's the greatest paradox of trading. The real secret isn't in chasing more. It's in losing less. And when you live that truth, not just know it, but live it, that's when survival turns into success. That's when discipline turns into freedom. That's when you stop being another casualty of the markets and start becoming the trader you were meant to be.